And now we'll start our discussion of the jobs that exist in the data field and how you can land yourself a high-paying job. So here are some of the things we'll be considering when we talk about these jobs. First, the job details or the job requirements. So what kind of work does this position actually do and what kind of skills would you need in order to get that done? We'll talk about the qualifications. Do you need a college degree or an advanced degree such as a master's or a PhD? And we'll also touch on some of the prerequisite knowledge you need in order to be able to do that job. For example, we're talking about jobs in the data field. So do you need to know about artificial intelligence, natural language processing, data visualization, cloud computing, etc.? We'll touch on that with the positions we talk about. Earlier, I mentioned that we'll be talking about 4 positions, and we will, but we'll also be talking about some ways, some exit opportunities you have in case you want to leave that and go pursue other opportunities. We'll talk about pay. Now, of course, pay varies on regions, but we'll just be looking at some averages from reputable sources in order to see, on average, how much does this position make. And we'll be looking at multiple sources in terms of career growth, also making sure we have a holistic picture of where you can go from this position. And we'll talk about career growth itself and what comes next if you decide to move on from that position. Before we dive in, I want to talk to you a bit about the spectrum that we'll be talking about in this video. So on the left side of the spectrum, we have our more business-oriented roles that may be less technical, and then on the right, we have our more technical roles that may be less business-oriented, and they're more focused on the technology. And the reason why I want to talk to you about this is because every job falls somewhere on the spectrum. We won't talk about any jobs that are 100% non-technical, but also even in the most technical roles we'll be discussing, you have to have that domain knowledge or business sense in order to be able to analyze data in the most effective way. So what we'll do now is take those 4 jobs we mentioned earlier in the video and put them somewhere along our spectrum. So you can see on the closest to the left, we have business analyst, and business analyst, that is not a purely business role. You do need technical skills in all of these roles that we'll be talking about. So I don't want you to think that business analyst doesn't require technical skills, because it does. And then we have data analysts, who are a bit more technical than the business analysts, but I also want to point out that this largely depends on the organization you work for. Some companies may actually use the terms business analyst and data analyst interchangeably. And if you compare job descriptions for both, you'll notice a lot of similarities. So if you're used to, business analyst doing the work of a data analyst or vice versa, then you don't need to leave a mean comment about that. I'm just giving you a broad framework to think about these. Next, we have data engineers, who are more technical than the business and data analysts usually, and data scientists. So if you look at this, you might think data scientists are more technical than data engineers, but that also depends on the organization. That may or may not be true, depending on the particular organization you're dealing with. So the first job we'll do a deep dive on is business analysts. And what business analysts do at a high level is they use data to enable the organization to make better decisions. And you'll see that that definition is extremely broad, because you could also say data scientists or data analysts do the same thing. But business analysts are more focused on business process improvements, so solving business problems with technical solutions. And there actually are multiple ways data business analysts are used. I've seen them embedded within application teams where they work on requirements gathering. And so what they would do there is interface with the client or with various stakeholders in order to determine what should an application do. And so a team like that may consist of a business analyst, some front end and back end software engineers, and then the business analyst will translate the organizational needs into requirements that the software engineers can then build. Business analysts also have a project management or product improvement or product ownership aspect of their job, in which, depending on which organization you work for, they may be figuring out how can they change their project or how can they better market their project. And so there's also that marketing and product improvement aspect of the job. Business analysts use data in their job to identify new opportunities or evaluate the feasibility of business solutions. And so they do have to have effective data processing and data visualization skills, especially when it comes to presenting their findings. Those data visualization and communication skills are extremely important in this role. In terms of the job requirements, you can get a business analyst job, typically with a bachelor's degree, and any degree that usually has somewhat of a quantitative component, so economics or finance, information systems, and of course you can get in with computer science or a degree in the hard science. Some jobs may prefer a master's degree in any data intensive field, And in terms of career growth for business analysts, we see that there are a lot of opportunities for business analysts that want to try their hand at something else. So of course they can become a senior business analyst, but if they want to go somewhere else, then management consulting is somewhere that a business analyst could land. A business analyst could also become a data analyst or work in quality assurance, which is making sure that, let's say, the application is working as intended and identifying and fixing those bugs and work with a team of developers there. Then they can also transition into a product management or a project management role. In terms of pay for business analysts, the Glassdoor says the average is about 82,000, and salary.com puts the average from 74,000 to $92,500. When it comes to data analysts, their job is to gather and interpret data, and so they need strong data processing, data analysis, and data visualization skills. And so you'll often need to know a programming language, usually Python or R, to land one of these jobs. And like I was saying earlier, they use data to enable their organization to make data-driven decisions, and they'll have to be able to present those findings. So we see communication skills being a common thread amongst all of these positions. For the job requirements, you typically do need a bachelor's degree, and that can be in something like operations management or data analytics, or even economics, finance, information systems, computer science, or one of the hard sciences like physics or chemistry. And some jobs may prefer you to have a master's degree in another data intensive field. You can get a data analyst job by attending a data analytics boot camp. Just make sure you're going to a good boot camp and that you know what their employment statistics are within, let's say, 3 or 6 or 9 months of finishing the program. In terms of career growth for data analysts, they can improve their programming and statistics skills and become a data scientist. They can also transition into project management. They can become a business or a financial analyst. And of course, management consulting is always open to data analysts. And in terms of pay, salary.com and the Bureau of Labor Statistics put the median pay for a data analyst around $82,000. You can definitely make well into 6 figures as a data analyst or a business analyst or a data engineer or data scientist. And so take a lot of these averages with a grain of salt, especially if you're living in or near a big city, then your pay will be much higher than these averages. The next job we'll talk about is the job of data engineering. Data engineers build systems that collect, manage, and process data, and this data is typically used by either data scientists or business or data analysts or other people within the organization in order to make informed decisions and be able to do their job. Data engineers make data accessible to the people that need to use it. And they do this by building, testing, and maintaining databases. So data engineer is actually quite similar to the job of database administrator. Data engineers build the pipelines that can capture, process, and then deliver data where it needs to go. Data engineering positions typically require a bachelor's degree in computer science, engineering, one of the hard sciences, or maybe even information systems or information science. In terms of their career growth and exit opportunities, data engineers can usually move on and become a data architect or a solutions architect. They can also transition and become a data scientist, which we'll talk about next, or they can take the project management route. In terms of pay for data engineers, Glassdoor puts the average at 115,000 and Indeed puts that average at 134,000. The last position we'll talk about today is the data scientist position. Data scientists can implement machine learning algorithms, build artificial intelligence, they can do advanced forecasting or other statistical analysis, and they also spend most of their time data processing in order to get their data in a format where they can either implement a machine learning algorithm or do their statistical analysis. And data scientists also have to have strong data visualization skills, and they'll also have to be able to present their findings. So they need good communication skills as well, which is a common thread amongst every data position. For job requirements, data scientists can get in with a bachelor's degree, typically in computer science, engineering, or hard science, but typically masters or PhDs are preferred for the data scientist position. Data scientists do have opportunities for career growth. They can become statisticians, project managers, or management consultants, even though people with data scientist positions often prefer to stay in their position. In terms of pay, Coursera puts the average for data scientists at 125,000, and the Bureau of Labor Statistics puts it at 100,000. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss an upload. Also, we have a lot of great content on our channel, and we have a lot of great content coming in the future about Python programming, data analytics, machine learning, physical computing using Raspberry Pis, and cloud computing and Amazon Web Services. So make sure you subscribe so you can view all of those videos coming in the future and support the channel. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.